Now, I realize we're all over North America, and we want to know about the local rock stars in your community. Send me an email, ken@businessrockstars.com, so we could feature you or the people you know. Joining me on the show, he makes the hiatus from what we call the 818 area code. It's like the other side of
the 818.
You're an 818er.
Yes, that's true.
You've always been an 818er.
I've always been an 818er. That's it. I've never been a 213 or a 310er.
Yeah. Or now, what is it? 424.
424.
All the area code changes that happen out here. Yeah. Scott Page is joining us. I am Scott Page, or are you ready? Can you say Ignited?
Ignited.network.
Right.
Ignited.network. It's going great. Oh, man. A lot of good things going on right now. Very excited.
What's going on that excites you about that?
Well, first of all, I can't talk about the location where we're going to be running it, which I'm very excited about.
Do you have a location? Yeah, you found the spot.
Big time, yeah. So it's going to be great.
What's the area code?
It's 818.
It's 818.
I got lucky because the place happens to be over in Glendale, which is not too far
from
you.
For you, that's great. I gotta show you something, Scott.
Okay, what do you got there?
I'm going to show you, and people will understand once I show you. So I recently installed Flickr on my phone, not realizing all this stuff has been sitting on my phone. So I want you to see this right here. This is a photo. Do you even know what that is?
Oh my God, that was when we went. When did we do that?
So that right there,
was Vegas,
that's 2002.
Right? We went to Vegas, right?
Yeah, we drove, and that's the street is Zizix. ZZYZX
Road.
Now, the reason why I bring this up is there's a picture we're looking at right now, right? We're going back 13, 14 years ago.
Holy cow.
Right? And then this right here, what was going on in your life?
Let's see, 13 years ago? Boy, that's kind of hard. I think what were we doing 13 years ago?
13 years ago, you were probably working with one of your businesses, but it was a high-tech business, of course.
Oh, yeah, probably new media broadcasting.
So
yep.
You were still doing high-tech. You're always doing high-tech. You're always doing internet stuff, but you're finding a way to use internet, music, artists, smashing them all together. And we're not just talking about musical artists, working with Mighty Python, right? Working with a lot, but you've always been in this world.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I really think that's a real advantage, which is going to be interesting with our guest today because tech, I think, really you need to have an understanding of where tech is going, what's going on, especially if you're an artist today, because platforms are changing, new strategies. It's like one of the big ones I think artists should do, or anybody should be thinking about right now is, Periscope, Meerkat, all the real-time stuff.
Meerkat, really?
But well, it's two different. They got two different kind of users. But the point I'm saying is the real-time concept of real-time media is the next wave. And what's beautiful is if you can jump on a platform when it's taking off, you can rise quickly with it as it goes.
All right. So let's do that. Let's meet our protege. What is your name?
My name's Dela.
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 And how do we find you on the web?
Well, Open Source Rebellion. Just Google Open Source Rebellion. You'll find lots of stuff.
Scott got all excited about you. He gets real excited because he goes, this guy is a hacker, he's a coder, he's a musician. You literally, if Scott was a girl, he would find a way to date you like that.
It would be short. It would be a short romance, and then we'd be married, and then we'd be talking kids.
I mean, all of those buzzwords would get.
Because then we could have it because he's such a musician himself. It would be like a musical family.
That's right. See, you guys are way beyond me, even where I can take this. But you are. First, an artist first or a technologist first?
I always if this was a tech job meeting, let's say, I would tell you that I'm an artist coder.
An artist coder.
Yeah,
I've never heard of that before.
I'm a coder, and I have great coding practices and all that, and I write beautiful code. But code to me it's an art form. It's a science too, but it's an art form, and it's also too I think video games is going to surpass film as the great collaborative art form of our time. And I thought that at 10 years old, and I became a musician because I wanted to make awesome rock and roll soundtracks for games I was working on, and then I just kind of fell in love with being in a band. Today, I love coding, and if I had to just pick one career, I would stick in tech. But I have to be in a rock and roll band. I would always be in a rock and roll band, even if I didn't have success in music like we've been having. I would still do music. Does
it make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's so interesting because what you have by having all that knowledge of coding, it gives you a leg up because everything right now is about how to rise above the noise. And so all the techniques of learning about growth hacking, which is understanding how data and building dashboards and finding audience and targeting gives you guys a real advantage because there's just new techniques and ways.
And I used to do a lot of Flash work. I actually built a Flash thing. I hacked Facebook, not Facebook. I hacked MySpace and YouTube kind of together, and I could get myself like 100,000 or a million.
You're kind of like Sammy
I could get
Kumkar.
myself as
Sammy?
many plays as I wanted on my YouTube.
Do you know Sammy
page.
Kumkar? You'll meet Sammy. He created the MySpace virus, and he was arrested by the Secret Service.
Oh, I
So
guess
you're-
I stopped before I got in trouble, I suppose.
You're kind of like Trent Reznor then, right? In a lot of ways, because
He's a technologist too.
He's a
right?
technologist and an artist at the same time, and he slaps these things together and he creates these visual experiences,
Well, and also
right?
too, he finds ways to perform live that integrate technology. Like one time, he made a giant MIDI controller that was like huge, and the whole audience could see it, and he was up there hitting stuff, so the audience could see him play a electronic instrument, sort of. And that was kind. I mean, do you
Okay,
do stuff like that?
I get it.
Yep.
Okay, now that you're cool,
You're cool.
do you make money as an artist?
Not enough to make a full living on, but yeah.
So
we've sold songs to television. And
So
stuff
this
like
is
that.
where we're going to
Licensing.
and this is where and Scott and I will dive into this. If we could enhance your music career and it makes a lot of money, would you say, hey, I'm going to be more of a passive technologist on the business side and put more emphasis on the music side?
No, I mean actually, our whole strategy for my whole strategy for how I plan to make it as an artist completely intertwines the programming and the music. Like basically,
Okay, got
Excellent.
it.
you know,
So it kind of goes back to what you were doing a long time ago, actually, with your first business.
Yeah, we did a lot of, it was really blending the two together because
Walt
obviously,
Tucker.
Walt Tucker, we were doing a lot of music video work.
But it was technology then,
And we
too.
started technology, very little in then, but that's when it became Seventh Level, and that's when we got heavily into technology.
So let's hang out. Let's ask some questions. Scott, you get to go first. Go
Okay,
for it,
so
sir.
I know you
This is a
programming
tough
every
one
day.
for you.
Huh?
This is not easy for you.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is interesting. So, but let me just ask, just give us a little information about how you're blending the two together. What are you thinking about?
Okay, so the concept right now is that Open Source Rebellion, my rock and roll band, is from this fictitious universe called the Rebel Future.
Okay, so you have a
Right.
story, which is interesting. Okay,
The Rebel
good.
Future is this brand I'm building that incorporates comic books and video games and music. And also too, like wear some interesting kind of clothing things, and basically the band will go on tour at the same time that we release a video game title. The video game title will have a soundtrack, and then it'll have an EP of pop songs that take the soundtrack tracks and reimagine them as pop songs.
Now, I'm guessing this is not country music, right?
No, it's futuristic rock and roll. The idea is that we're from the future. We got caught in a wormhole, right? And we ended up on this weird planet that they call Earth. We can't fix our spaceship
All right,
yet,
Dela,
so
can
we're
we-
rocking out.
Can we do this? Could we hear something from you when we come back? You
What's
bring an
that?
instrument?
Yeah.
What'd you bring? Guitar?
A guitar, yeah.
Great. Let's hear something from you when we come back, okay?
Cool.
If people want to find out more, what's the website?
Rebelfuture.com.
There you go. Scott Page, where do we find for you?
Ignited.network.
And you
Or
can't- or?
at I am Scott Page on Twitter.
That's right.
Follow me.
You're not tweeting right now. You don't even do
Oh,
it.
I tweet.
Tweet right now. Right now.
I'm gonna
Right now.
tweet.
And what it feels like, design is how it all works. Ken Rakowski, Business Rockstars. How to start your business, grow your business, fund your business. We're here to help you do that. How to actually look at yourself as an entrepreneur. Really important. If you are always thinking about how to better yourself, make yourself more marketable, position yourself, brand yourself, you're moving in the right direction. Scott Page is joining us. I am Scott Page. We're Ignited.network, which is Ignited Artists, which is The Voice meets The Apprentice meets, I don't know, what's the other one? Survivor? No, you're not kicking anybody off the island.
Apprentice.
Right? Apprentice. I said
Yeah, because
Voice meets Apprentice.
meets Shark Tank.
Shark Tank. That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah. It's a new way of kind of thinking about how to build a business as an artist.
And you can do it.
You can. Oh, today's the greatest time in history for this, brother.
This is the time. But also, even if you're not that good, you can still be pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, remember,
that make
as long
sense?
as you create value for an audience, you can build an audience.
But you know
can
what I'm
build it.
saying, right?
Oh, I do.
Because I've noticed that there are some artists on YouTube that make the right video, put the right, let's say, sexiness in it, and they have a few million views, and then people listen to their music and think, it's okay, but I like their music videos.
Yeah.
And they make good money doing that.
Yep.
All right. So who do we got today? Who's our artist?
Dela, man, he's the man. Programmer extraordinaire, music rock god.
You got all that? That's a lot. Can you
That's a lot.
actually
It's a
give
lot
us?
to love to.
Can we hear something out? Can you bust a rhyme for us?
Yeah, so this is something off of our beta EP, and which is already out. You can find it online and stuff in stores. Venus, lover, so complete, bittersweet, a sight to see it was. Yeah, baby, it was Cali, Inti, in Court Creeks, mushroom trips on mountain peaks in love. Yeah, baby, in love. 'Cause I can't only be the man I am. I know I can only be the man I am. You know I can only be the only be the softly, sweetly in the sheets, a jealous lion on the streets. She was, yeah, baby, she was. 'Cause I can't only be the man I am. You know I can only be the
Yeah.
Nice.
Not bad for a programmer.
There was a workout there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was fantastic. What is that track called?
The track's called Venus.
I like how you call that our beta.
Yeah, the beta EP was our first
The
release.
beta EP. You like that? Very code-based, right?
Totally.
Yep. All right, so Scott, dive
Rick, so
in.
question. So you've got this stuff going and you're building. Now, do you have a timetable, a strategy, a plan to get this out? Because I mean, all the things you're talking about, that's a lot.
It's
right?
a lot, and
it's a lot.
The game has actually been in production for about 2 years. Mm-hmm. I have spent quite a bit of money on it. At least for me, a lot of money. Like I spent about $50,000 in artwork and music and plugins and software I needed and all that stuff so far. Which for me is that's a bit, maybe on the scale of a AAA title, that's not a very big budget. But for me, Yeah. And so we hired the artist who did the Boondock Saints comics. Mm-hmm. The game has a really incredible look. There's 4 factions. Each faction has a different color. And our first release, Glaive Gunner, is it's an iPad, Android tablet game where 2 kids can actually play head to head on one device at one time, which is kind of not something a lot of people are doing. The game, it has 4 female characters, 4 male characters.
Is it specifically designed for promotion of you as an artist?
No, because then I would be cheating it a little bit of something. Like it's meant to be a really fun game, and that's partly why it's taking me longer to release it. But yeah, no, it's meant to stand on its own. But also our whole strategy is all tied in with this.
Yes.
Okay.
So
concept.
my question is this, because again, building a lot of stuff it's great, but have you tested this? Do you have any indication that you have strong signals that this is a really good idea? People like the game, they like the characters. Have you gone through any process of that?
Yeah. So the reason why I picked this game a while back, because you're like, what kind of game should I make first, right? And I don't want to make something that's too much to bite off at one time. Mm-hmm. I'd really like to do a sci-fi Zelda game, a big adventure game, but that's a lot. And so I was like, you know what? I made this prototype that was basically, that game that came out in the 90s, Crossfire. Mm-hmm. Like they had that cool commercial with the kids. I never had it, but I always thought it was cool. And so I made a game version of it. And I took it to work. I was working on something for Animal Planet at the time. And all my coworkers, I had to take it away from them. So okay, this is a cool game mechanic. People like it. Mm-hmm. It's unique. It's 2 people can play on one device at the same time. It's in an action way, like a Street Fighter game or something, which is unique in the store. Mm-hmm. And I know that's important to be unique in the store. And I've been working with this game engine called Unity 3D, which is
Dela,
amazing.
right?
Yeah.
You're all over the place. No, I mean, it's good and it's bad.
Sure.
Okay? Yeah. To start a business, you're a business. Sounds like you have an amazing development business over here, right? And it sounds like that could stand on its own.
Yeah.
Right? Then you got this artist business. Then you have this futuristic, hey, you got to look at our clothing style, look at another business. You have a brand.
Yeah.
Right? And you have to decide what aspect, and Facebook had to do this. every one of the most successful, Tesla has to do it. They have to identify exactly where all their emphasis goes into.
Yeah.
And then they make that part a success and they use it as a platform to take the next one on. And I know you know this, but I think what happens is you're one of these guys, you walk in, you get so excited. I think we all do, going, oh, I want to do this, do this. It's like going to the zoo and not sure what channel you want to go see right away.
Yeah.
Even though you know it's all there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you had to pick one aspect of where your focus is, where would that one aspect go?
Well, and this is something I'm really struggling with, actually. So I'm glad you brought it up. Like, if I don't make music for more than 4 or 5 or 6 days, if I don't work on something, I start to feel guilty. I start to feel like I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. But also, like, I really enjoy programming. I really enjoy tech, and I really love video games. And so, and then if I go more than a week without working on that, I start to feel guilty.
Yeah. Well, it comes down to this: are you trying to start a business, or are you trying to build a business? Here's a suggestion. There's a tool I talk about all the time. It's called the Lean Canvas. And it's part of the Lean Startup movement. And the Lean Startup, it's incredible. Eric Rice, and there's a variety of them. Ash Mira has a book called Running Lean. I really, really, really recommend it. But the Lean Canvas, which you can get at LeanStack, stack.com for those out there, is one of the great business tools. And it's basically a one-page business plan. It forces you to think through 9 questions. Once those questions, the whole goal is to tailor you down to the nugget that you're going to start with first. And the whole Lean Startup principle is based on building the MVP, minimal viable product. Right. So for you, what is the minimal viable product that you could put together, the smallest thing that you can that would get you out there? If you start thinking about that.
With what? See, we're hearing a business, a game development business. A game is incredibly lucrative if it's done right. As an artist, a little harder, but there's a huge payoff, especially with a unique look and a story. Right? A fashion line, a brand line. I mean, he's got so many businesses. It's tough because I can see where that guilt comes from. Right? The guilt is if I'm not, it's like a child. And he basically gave birth to triplets right away, right? He's got to take care of them all at the same time.
Yeah, I live that model with New NBC because we built an application that was so robust and so big and so much that we got killed because of that.
I'm going to take a page out of our friend of ours. His name is Bebop. And he's part of the guys that are putting the Hyperloop together. You know what the Hyperloop is, right?
Elon Musk project.
Well, no, it's not. Elon open sourced it.
He gave it away.
Right. And so these guys are going off and raising $100 million. They're going to build a
crowdsource too.
A crowdsource, but they've created a team of 240 people that are teams of 12 to work on different components.
Yep.
I'm betting you that you can crowdsource your fans and friends into different components of your business that you can kind of pop into and see what the progression is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you don't feel guilty. You got one of the smartest guys that you brought in with you, the Scott guy. I'm being serious. One of the smartest guys I know.
Yeah, he's
not this Scott, the other Scott, the one sitting over there.
You're pretty smart too, Scott. And he's passionate about you. He can probably help you see this on the outside. And if you have guys like Scott Leonard in your life, you're at a pretty substantial level, right? So use those fans that are your friends to help you oversee this project a little differently because you're too close to it. Does that make sense, Scott Page?
Oh, absolutely. And again, that's a big strategy, a big part of the strategy of United Networks. What we're building is a super fan network because we did this with Monty Python. First thing I did was built the Python army because I needed Photoshop guys, I needed bloggers, I needed all these different kinds of skill sets. I put it out, found that super fan base, created tasks for them, created a reward system for them, and they did all this work. We had thousands and thousands of pieces of media that were created by using the crowd.
That's cool.
This is what's cool about where you're going is you know what you actually need. Most people, when we go, hey, you should get your super fans involved, they go, I don't know what to ask them.
Yeah.
You actually know. You have projects going on, and you need help. And what the most successful entrepreneur does is they know how to use their resources, not money. Resources, because money buys resources. You already have resources.
Yeah, plus you can do so much of the work yourself. So imagine building a team, because I'm sure there's a ton of gamers and a ton of people that would love to get involved.
I've learned that there's only 24 hours in a day. I can only do so much.
That's why having somebody else to help you.
Things, you know.
That's why having a team of other people around a specific strategy and process, just like the Hyperloop thing, where they reached out and had all these people come together.
And I've been trying to involve my bandmates in that way.
I love what you're doing.
But it's also too, like, sometimes it's hard figuring out what, like, I don't want to just tell somebody what to do. I want to figure out what they want to do because that's what they're going to do the best.
What inspires them. Again, let's work with your friend Scott Leonard on how he can help you out. Is he willing to do that? He's saying yes.
I think so. Yeah.
The guy retired a long time ago, and he's got nothing to do, right?
He's
now
got
you
so much money, it's ridiculous.
So that's not about the money, but that's the key. We don't. But we want to look at resources, right?
Yes.
Hey, when we come back, let's dive a little deeper in this whole idea of how you use the resources that are around you. Again, people want to find out more. What's the website?
Rebelfuture.com.
There you go.
Or Google Open Source Rebellion.
There you go. And Scott Page, I'm Scott Page, or United.network. When we come back, how do you use the resources that are around you? Ken Rakowski, you're listening to Business Rockstars.
This is Business Rockstars, where we introduce you to the rock stars of the business world, so you can become a rock star too.
I'm telling the guys in the studio right now to make sure they listen to this quote. This is coming from Sergey Brin. You know Sergey is, right? Co-founder of Google, okay? He says this: solving big problems is easier than solving little problems. Do you understand why I'm Ken Rakowski, Business Rockstars? Do you understand why?
Because you get down the devil's in the details.
No, you're shaking your head no, right? When you look at something from a 30,000-foot view, it's so much easier than getting really, really close. Let me give you an example. Yeah. If you go outside right now and I'd say, hey, take your hand and cover up the sun, right? Your hand looks bigger than the sun.
Because of its relative distance.
That's right. So what happens is when you look at a problem in an outside the box, almost a 30,000-foot level, it's easier to see where things are to fix faster. Yeah. When we get really close, the littlest things look like they're the biggest problem.
And it's funny, General Patton has that quote, take care of the little things and the big things will take care of themselves.
Because it's all in that details. That's why I like the lean canvas, is because it forces you to get down into the minutia of it, where you start looking at solving that little problem first. Right?
I'm going to tell you right now, we have some big problems that need to be solved right now where you're going. And they're easier to solve at a bigger level than a smaller level. Okay, because if I get too deep with you on your problems, you will have some emotional issues on things have to be moved around because you're an emotional guy. That's important.
It's interesting that you see that so quickly.
Am I wrong?
No.
No, you're emotional, which means is you're going to have loyalty situations, which, well, if we move something around, it might affect somebody else, and you're going to worry about that person's emotional situation, and you're not going to be focusing on the big picture. Okay, and that's why I pointed at Scott, who a friend of yours.
I do get too caught up in details.
Well, but Scott, who you brought in here, he is one of these guys. Let's remove emotion real quick. Let's look at the big picture and let's move things around like a chess game and make sure it works. I love having guys like that, but you have to have a blend. Okay, Scott's an emotional guy. Scott Page. Scott, and his emotions, as well as mine, have always gotten our way until we find somebody that's above us that sees the big picture and allows us to say, hey, you know what? You're focusing too much on little detail problems. Let's go back to the big picture. Make sense?
Yeah.
So we have to go back to you. You need to have a mission plan for you as whoever you are, either the artist, the coder, the developer, the brander, whatever it's going to be. You need to know where that is because you're right now in Disney World and there's nobody in the park and you could go on every ride right now. That's how you feel.
Good analogy.
You're going everywhere. Right?
Yeah,
and you'll never be able to see the whole park.
Yeah, I'm so torn by what you're saying. Because I care a lot but I feel like I have at least focused on just this. Like, there's nothing in the world to me besides Rebel Future and the band.
But what is that?
Yeah, so what the question is what's the minimal viable product you're going to do? Because I've heard about the game that's been in development for 2 years.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And which is great. But my question is the new model is, hey, what can I build in 90 days and get it out and see what's happening? Done. You want to put something out as quick as possible, as fast as possible, with the least amount of spending resources to move your ball forward. Have you been building audience? How big is your audience right now? For you?
We have like several thousand Facebook fans. I have Twitter followers, Instagram followers.
So how big is it?
I actually just started Instagram.
These are more important foundational tools to put time into because then if you want to do a Kickstarter, right? If you wanted to get a crowd-funded campaign around one of your platforms, you don't even have the masses to point them.
I think it's kind of immoral to kickstart something that's for profit for myself. Like
no. Okay, we're gonna have to set you with Elon Lee. Do you know who Elon Lee is? So he's helped Trent Reznor out. He did Exploding Kittens. Do you know what that is? He wanted to raise $10,000. You raised $9 million on a card game. Because he understands where the momentum of getting people passionate about something is, not about the money, the momentum, and they're willing to pay. Scott?
Yeah, and more importantly about that is once people give you money, you have a connection with him. They're going to follow
Absolutely.
you. And now you've built a super fan, so you get to communicate.
But I feel like you also owe them something. A lot of Kickstarter things haven't delivered.
Yeah, but that's different.
Yeah, but-
You're looking at a different situation.
You're right. You have to deliver. That's where the thought has to come through. Is I have to put some. I would go study. Eric Rees now did one of the most incredible Kickstarter campaigns. He was going out to raise $125,000 to do his new book. He ended up raising, I think, close to $700,000. But what he did is his book is only on Kickstarter. That's the only place you can get it. He had like 25 products, anywhere from $5 to $10,000, and he hasn't written the book. And it's all about bringing the community in, because the game is all about owning the community. Whoever owns the community wins. If you own, that's your direct connect. That's where all the dollars come in.
So, Dela, you're a good guy. Okay? I think every one of your fans and friends want to see you be wildly successful, right? Wildly successful. What that means is you're going to have to point at one thing and say, let's make that, turn that on and make that successful. Make some money so you become sustainable in a big way. Yeah. And then do what Elon Musk did. I'm assuming you like Elon Musk, right? Yeah. What did Elon do after he left PayPal? He took his money and he put it into a business.
Tesla.
And then he took money from Tesla and put it into Solar City, and he put it into, so every time he had a success, he reinvested that money into a new division or a new business, right? Which you should be doing then too.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I always use the analogy of Amazon. When Amazon came out, it was books. What books? That's it. It was books. Now it's the largest retailer
for everything.
For everything. But that was smart because it was very focused. Somebody could really understand and where it's at. So thinking of a strategy to say, how do I move the needle? How do I start bringing people in that care about what I'm doing? And the most important thing is creating a repeatable model.
You are probably one of the smartest guys we've ever had walk in here that's an artist.
How do you know that?
This is what I do. I have one superpower.
Okay.
I do. I have one, okay? You are probably one of the smartest that walked in here.
Yeah.
And with high intelligence comes a lot of confusion. That's just fact, sure. Okay? So the idea now is to surround yourself with people that could help you be a little more focused in those areas, and you will have great success. I'm excited to see what's going to happen. 6 months from now, if you hang out with the right people, which you will, watch changes. People want to find out more. What's the website?
Rebelfuture.com.
Scott, what's the website?
Ignited.network.
Right there is Noah, Nick, Charlie, and Ben, and Bridget and Brittany put the show together. I'm Ken Rakowski. Thanks a lot for hanging out with us. Tomorrow, we have Nice Peter from Epic Rap Battles of History join us in the studio.
Thanks
a lot for listening to Business Rockstars.